Okay, Tahila, this is Jermaine giving you a tutorial actually on something I just noticed on that latest mock-up that you sent. When you have content boxes and they are, well, you want to always make sure they're the same size for one, but two, say for instance you may have a situation where you want to do four content boxes. So you could have them stretched out, say four columns, one, two, three, four columns, and then they'll fit perfectly across the 960 grid with I think that's a 10 pix padding on the sides. So that's no problem when you do it that way. When you have four, sometimes you won't want to do four. You want to do like three, like I did on a previous mock-up. So what you would do is you would say, okay, how much padding do I want between them, and let me go ahead and decide that. Say maybe it's only okay that maybe it's only 10 picks versus 20 picks. So we say okay, only 10 picks from each of them. Well, even if you dragged out another one at 10 picks, you still have all this space over here. That's cool if you're doing like a sidebar, because then you could use the sidebar to fill this content area up. But if you only have those three, you're on the home page, you don't want to do a sidebar on the home page, you say, okay, gosh, what am I going to do to make sure that space is there? This is a trick that I learned a few years back. You'll still copy that, and we'll get the 10 picks boarding in between it. Then we'll select all of these. Okay, you can select them over here together, or over here. And then we're going to hold shift, and all we have to do is just drag those over to that last guideline. Once you drag it over to that last guide, now you have three perfectly fitted content boxes within that 960 grid, and you also have your 10 pix gutter or padding in between each of those content boxes. So it still gives you that even look, and you still are within the 960, even though you're not on exactly on the actual grid per se. You're still within that. Sometimes you'll have where you have to have a shorter, a wider box versus having a box this size, or this size, or this size, depending on how you do your guttering. Sometimes you got to have it where it's right there, and you're able to have it equal. So when you want to do that, that's all you have to do is just do that. Remember, and it works with any kind of size box you do, and you can do it either way. As a matter of fact, so even if you was coming from this side, say that's the box we added. Let's do padding. Let's do a crazy padding this time, like that. Let's do another one. Um, like that. Then we just grab them and hold shift, and voila. Now you have the even boxes with the even padding in between. And that is pretty much it. Again, if you come across a situation where you have the four, then you work out perfectly on the grid. If you're depending on what size you choose. But other than that, if not, then you can always use this trick to make sure that everything is even up. You want to make sure that you even up everything on your grid, because the eye is very, very keen on spacing and things being in alignment. So you want to make sure that they're in the grid. Even if you do a grid, for instance, you had another box here, or if you had long boxes here, but had say for instance you had one box that was here, but maybe it was like this, and then oops. But you still had which kind of get your padding, and you brought it like that. You still got the different layout options, but it's still kind of equaling up. I mean, these are kind of like not equal right now, but you know what I mean. You get my point. I'm making as far as making sure that things line up, so you can have different kind of elements and still have things look presentable and lined up properly when you're talking about your layout and your content area there. All right. Hope this helps. Bye bye.